UN calls Israel order to evacuate 1.1 million in Gaza impossible.
Here's a summary of the article.
The United Nations said Israel called for the evacuation of 1.1 million people living in northern Gaza within the next 24 hours, describing the order as impossible and appealing for a reversal ahead of what increasingly looks like an imminent ground invasion. Israel's military ordered all civilians living in Gaza City to move to the area south of Wadi Gaza, which marks the southern boundary of the city, and said they can only return when permitted. Israel Defense Forces said Gaza City is an area where military operations take place and it would continue to operate significantly there. The army also informed UN officials in Gaza late Thursday that the organization should remove staff from the area within the one-day time period. Ground invasion. Israel's military has positioned as many as 300,000 personnel outside Gaza and signaled a major ground offensive could be imminent as it seeks to wipe out the Hamas militant group. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Tel Aviv Thursday and voiced continued support for Israel's right to defend itself, but cautioned officials there that how Israel does this matters. Hamas called on its people not to heed the calls for evacuation and said that this was part of Israel's psychological warfare.
This post received a score of 17,000, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Translated into English. Here's the translation in English. Israel understands that the evacuation of northern Gaza will take more than 24 hours, says spokesperson. Israel does not want to harm civilian Palestinians, emphasizes IDF spokesperson, Admiral Daniel Hagari, according to the Times of Israel. The order to evacuate Palestinians from northern Gaza is to enable freedom of action and increase the damage against Hamas, it says. Those who do not listen to the recommendations put their family at risk.
Yeah, so evacuation is gonna take a while, but we're ready to go, so, don't be the last one out.
IDF checking stopwatch, either start running or say goodbye to your loved ones, but time is ticking.
The feeling when you own both the watches and the time.
Morris Day?
Okay, but where do you put 1.1 million people?
It really should be noted that they're essentially asking 1.1 million people in one of the most densely populated areas of the world to immediately move to another incredibly densely populated area also containing 1.1 million people, with no planning, coordination, or additional housing in place, while the city is in the middle of a complete siege where there is no food, water, energy, or general supplies allowed into the country. All in 24 hours. It's literally insane.
Even more than that. They are demanding all that be done for an indefinite period of time. No one exactly knows Israel's plans here or how much wanton destruction will occur. They have neither the money or resources, and I don't see Israel promising anything about helping rebuild at the moment, or even letting outside parties in to help rebuild. I guess time will tell, but this all has the look of making the Syrian refugee crisis look tame in comparison.
You're right, but wanton destruction is kind of a hilarious bone apple tea moment.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit high. What should it say?
Wanton destruction.
Wanton destruction? Israel knows it's impossible.
Evacuate where, anyway?
Right now, Canada is trying to airlift our citizens out of the conflict to Greece, and then back to Canada. The problem is, Canadians in Gaza are saying, they can't get to the flights.
How? Israel destroyed Gaza's airport years ago.
From my original post, and from the links I provided that you were too lazy to click on, it's almost like the answers were staring you in the face this whole time.
The problem was that you didn't make airplane noises when you brought the spoon to their mouth.
S-tier comment.
Is a ground invasion not a complete logistical nightmare for the Israeli military though? You basically walk into guerrilla warfare, and I have to imagine it's going to be like the US marching into Iraq all over again with IEDs planted all over Gaza. The vibe I get from interviews with Israelis feels like those dudes thinking it was going to be a cakewalk in all quiet on the Western Front.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.